Ladies and gentlemen, Desert Storm's veterans all, General Franks, General Dempsey, Ambassador friends, it's my honor tonight to introduce a true friend of the United States, a man who has represented his country in some of the most difficult and challenging positions around the world the nation has to offer, a man who is a patriot, a diplomat, and whose nation has undergone dynamic change in the last 25 years. A man whose story of his country losing freedom, his personal story of his family losing freedom, and then regaining it is not only inspiring, but also emotional in its telling, and some of us heard it the other night. Something that those of us sitting in this room have never, and hopefully will never have to cope with, losing our country, losing our family. He is a man who understands sacrifice and appreciates those who have sacrificed for others, for him and for his nation. He is a leader. He believes that friendships and the lessons demonstrated 25 years ago has great meaning today, especially in the turbulent environment that we face. And it serves to show that people who strive for freedom and democracy, and I'm paraphrasing what he said, are the same in their values and are able to get along regardless of differences. And that coalition that was formed 25 years ago, when we think about it, really does serve to show us that things can happen if men of good faith and women of good faith want it to happen. A man that I first met when I was the Commander-in-Chief in Korea, and he was the Kuwaiti ambassador to Korea, where we struck an immediate friendship. Ladies and gentlemen and veterans, it's my great honor to introduce the Ambassador of the State of Kuwait, His Excellency Salem Al-Sabah.
Thank you, General Titelli, for that great introduction. As the General mentioned, our friendship goes back to the late 90s when we both served in Korea. And I have to share, before I start, a personal story that not only did our friendship flourish and our families mingle there, but I had the honor and privilege to be able to raise my children close to the Yongsan military base there in Seoul. And my kids learned to ride their bikes there. We watched the latest movies there, and we felt very at home at that base. General Dempsey, General Franks, ladies and gentlemen, I'm so honored to be up here and be with you today. I feel that if fate hadn't played its hand and I joined the Foreign Service, I could have been in the military, because that was my second choice of career. So I am very happy and I'm very honored to be with you today. Now, I'm very, very conscious that I'm probably one of the people that's standing between you and your main course, so I'll try and be very, very brief. My message is a simple one. My message is a message of thanks and appreciation. We, the people and government of Kuwait, are very appreciative of what the U.S. did to us 25 years ago. The U.S. people, the U.S. government, and especially you, the U.S. military. If it weren't for you, if it weren't for the courage of America, if it weren't for America's leadership at that time, I would not be standing in front of you today as the envoy and representative of a free and sovereign nation. It so happened that back in 1991, things came together in a way that I think in history are very, very rare. You had the Commander-in-Chief, President George H.W. Bush, who was a very brave man, a man with vision, and a man with courage. And when he saw something that was not supposed to happen, that was wrong, he stood up and said, "This will not stand." And you had an administration at that time that was very capable of building a coalition. And remember, this is a word coming right out of the Cold War. I mean, the Soviet Union had collapsed probably less than a year before this. The US was able to form a coalition of 35 countries. You had a military leadership at that time that was able to put into action a plan that was very well executed by yourselves and people in the US military. And that's how my country, this small, faraway country that's probably the size of New Jersey, the state of New Jersey, got its freedom back and got its sovereignty back. So what I've been trying to say in Washington and beyond Washington this past week or 10 days is that 25 years have passed, a quarter of a century have passed, but time has not erased how we feel towards the US. Time has not erased the appreciation the Kuwaiti feel towards the American people and the American military. You gave us our home back, and how could anybody trump that? But you did it. I also want to tell you where we are now as a state, as a nation, 25 years on. We are prosperous, we are peaceful, although our neighborhood is very, very turbulent. Our democracy is flourishing. Women in Kuwait got the right to vote and run for public office 10 years ago, yes. Very proud of that. And that's a first in our region. So we're on the right path. So in short, ours is a success story. And the success, you have made that success possible by your sacrifices and your brave stand 25 years ago. And what we're trying to, because as populations age and new generations come into being, we are trying to keep this feeling alive with our young generation, and we are reminding them constantly of what happened 25 years ago, and we are reminding them constantly of the strong bond of friendship that we have as Kuwaitis with the US people. And we're doing that, I think, in a very successful ways. And one of the tools that we thought for this 25th anniversary that we should do is create a storybook and create a film that would tell the story that we can use in distributing this wonderful relationship that we have. And you've all got one of these, the copy of these books that my government, our Ministry of Information worked very closely with two wonderful companies here in America, Story Rock and Remember My Service, to produce this great book and this video DVD that goes with it. And as you will see when you read the book and watch the film, it gives a very, very clear chronology of what happened. But I think the essence of what is in the book and in the film is the strong bond of friendship that exists between Kuwait and the US. And you will hear a lot of Kuwaitis being interviewed in the film. And I think the thread that runs between them is a feeling of appreciation that the Kuwaiti people feel towards America. And that's the exact message I'm trying to transmit to you today, is that we are grateful. We are truly grateful for what you did to us 25 years ago. And we will remember this every single year, and we will remember it at the 50 year and the 75 year and at the 100 year and on and on and on. Thank you. General Flanks, I would like to offer you this book on behalf of my government, and I'm sure that you're all going to really enjoy reading it and seeing the film. It brings back a lot of bitter but also sweet memories. Thank you for your time. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoy it and watch the film, and you will great in it too. Thank you, John.
Mr. Ambassador, I accept this book and this video on behalf of all of us here tonight and over 145,000 of your friends who were part of 7th Corps in the main ground attack that's part of the coalition liberated the nation of Kuwait. I might also, Mr. Ambassador, express our deep thanks for your very moving and inspiring expression of gratitude from you personally from the leaders of your nation for what we were able to do collectively together as part of a coalition in liberating your nation. That expression of gratitude is not only in words, but is in deeds, and indeed the friendships between Kuwait and the United States of America are very, very strong. And we thank you so much for your own personal commitment to the expression of that gratitude during this period of time and on into the future. Thank you, sir.